Hi, everybody.
Okay.
I have with me Dieter Maas, zooming in from Germany. We want to share about this month's Energy Magic workshop, which is about soul piloting and the energy perspectives around this time of life and transitions and people who've left and gone on to wherever they go. So Dieter has been doing some research in this area, which is very interesting.
Mhm.
And so we thought the workshop would be a great opportunity to have some experiences and learn from Dieter's research. So Dieter,
Yeah.
can you say something about what you've been researching and what you've learned?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's interesting. Like the soul piloting is a part of Sylvia Hartman's supermind
Mhm.
um, development, actually, like the Project Sanctuary project, if you will.
Mhm.
And uh, and it's also a part of the supermind course. And I have done that quite a bit, like a few times this exercise, like maybe 10 or something.
Mhm.
Um, and then recently, I have heard an interview with a uh, like an some kind of esoteric podcast, if you will, no, where people, where this person is interviewing channelers and people who are doing spiritual services, you know, like channeling. And also there was showing up this person who is actually a nurse and who trained for being a so-called Anamkara or Anam Ira, which is in this Anam Ira version, is actually exactly what Sylvia Hartman um, does in this soul piloting context. No, it's exactly the same thing, only that it's used to accompany transitioning people from real life, you know? Like people from the physical world, for example, like relatives, to accompanying them to the other side
Mm.
and go there with them. And I didn't know that this is an actual real thing,
Yeah.
real life thing that people, for example, in the 6th century, there was a Celtic service, you know, that people did, you know, where people actually did this, and they accompanied their people who were dying to the other side of the veil, and she learned that this person who was interviewed in that interview, she
Mhm.
learned that she studied this, made an actual education about that. And it's the same thing as we are doing with the soul piloting.
Hmm.
And
So, Lisa, can you just qualify for those who might have just missed it there, the difference between Anamkara and Anam-Ira? Can you just explain the
yeah,
difference?
Anamkara is actually the service that you do when you accompany someone who is going towards dying, who is in the process of dying, and what you do to take care of them and to talk with them before death. And Anam Ira is then this process when they are dying, when they're actually dying, what you do when you accompany them beyond the veil, like go with them into this to, into this other side.
into the whatever those energy realms are that the soul enters, that we enter
Yeah.
with them and journey with them a little while to assist them on the journey. Yeah.
Yeah, this nurse, who was for her whole life, she was an intensive care nurse.
Yeah.
When she heard that, she talked about in this podcast. She talked about her experience, like when she heard about that this something like that exists actually, where you can learn to do that.
Yeah.
This become an Anam Ira. She was kind of immediately fascinated and wanted to do that, wanted to learn that. And she did. And what shocked me was actually that it's the same thing as what we learn with the soul piloting, like this pattern that Sylvia Hartmann invented.
Yeah.
And
so in our workshop next Friday, it's the Friday the 25th of October, UK time, 6 o'clock. We've got about an hour and a half, so it's limited time. We've got our regulars who are going to be joining us, and maybe some people who might like to decide to join this particular workshop. So what are we going to do in this time that they can have an experience that's meaningful for them?
Yeah, we cannot do very much in 1.5 hours, but we can have one experience with the soul piloting pattern that Sylvia Hartmann invented, and is part of the Supermind course. We can try to have an experience with that. And then I'm going,
Just want to say again, we are familiar because we've kind of Supermind masters already, but somebody who hasn't done it, soul piloting, could you explain what that term means? I know you kind of said it before, but in this context, soul piloting.
Basically, like the setup, like which is the intention that we set. When we do such an exercise, the setup is bring me to a place where I can meet a lost soul, which I can then help and bring to the place where they belong. A lost soul is basically a soul that is stuck after death in some place, like they are not aware that they died or something.
And so,
and then I can help them, and then as a soul pilot, to get to the place where his relatives are waiting for them.
Yeah, thank you for explaining that. So literally, the pilot is helping them on the way, and having done, had some experiences with this in Supermind myself, and the kind of experiences are very profound because they, not as we assist the other on this level of soul that we're working with, we are in the experience ourselves, and it's a very soul enriching, evolving experience for ourselves. So it's kind of, unfinished business for the soul to help them along their way, but also a lesson for us, a soul lesson, something more profound meaning that we don't normally reach that kind of experience in our normal life. So it's a very beautiful, special experience, actually.
And what we can expect now when doing the workshop with this exercise, what we can expect is something that lifts our energy quite well. I did one of those exercises this morning, and it really got my energy up. That was quite strong.
So in the workshop, it will be first to get some, hands-on experiential learning and an encounter and navigate in sanctuary and the energy realms where we can have this kind of experience, and then after the workshop, you have some, for those who kind of keen in this area, you have something lined up for them to pursue after that. So this would be a really great introduction to going further in this direction, from the energist point of view that we're working with. Wonderful. Well, I'm looking forward to it, Dieter, and I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm as well.
There's a few of
I'm
us
also
looking forward.
I want to do like collect a few materials for that whole thing, like the interview that I heard, and like some books for that topic. Put them together in a PDF that I'm also going to share in that workshop.
That's really
with
great,
everybody,
because everybody will want to know that. Where do they get that information? So that's
there's some really good books also interesting to read, like experience that people had, also about this Anam Ira, Anam Kara thing, like this real life Celtic tradition that exists in that area.
Yeah.
And it's so I'm putting that together also for myself, but I'm ready to share that with everybody who comes to that workshop as well.
Awesome.
Like we can't in 1.5 hours we can't do that much somehow. I don't want to overwhelm, and just do some nice experience would be good, to have to get the energy of that whole thing.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks very much for today and introducing it, and I look forward to it. Anybody who's not already in the Energy Magic monthly workshops group, contact me about registering for the workshop and joining us. And yeah, we'll see you then. Thanks a lot.